Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we gotta talk about the lying media, because apparently the Democrats and the media, they're all into this sheen together, okay? They have this agenda, and that is to have the American people undermine Trump, to have the American people abandon Trump, and to ultimately, this is their PSYOP strategy, and it's somewhat working for a couple people. I know we had another set of rallies yesterday. Then again, we know these are people with no jobs, right? These are people that don't want a job, or there are people that don't take their job seriously. They'll just say, "Oh, sorry, boss, I can't go into work because I have a serious case of Trump derangement syndrome, and I have to go out in the street." No, you don't have to do that, period. You're already paying for these ridiculous scam fundraisers. The last thing you want to do is stand and hold a sign up in the air like people's actually going to care about you. No, they're not. But getting away from that, Trump got a major win this early, and it seems like in the start of each month we tend to get these big wins, because ultimately, in regards to the economy, because the Democrats and the liberal media, they've said that Trump is destroying his own economy. The economy's going down. We're going into a recession. Inflation's going to get worse. And all that was kind of proved wrong. It was proved wrong because, in fact, after this report, Democrats can no longer say that we're going into a recession, because they said that this month, and then we get this stuff. It makes them look so stupid. Because, first off, what is a recession? Let's look that up. What is a recession? Now, a recession is a period of significant decline in economic activity that is spread across the economy and lasts more than a few months. It's characterized by a downturn or contraction where businesses and individuals reduce spending, leading to decreased output, employment, and investment. So if the Democrats are saying we're going to a recession, then the United States surpassing the 177,000 jobs being added contradicts the definition of a recession. They're saying, okay, this is the downturn of economic activity. If we were near a recession, then ideally we would have gotten like 50,000 jobs. It would have went down. But ultimately, we got over 177,000 jobs. This has surpassed the expectation. There was one source that said that we would get no more than 60,000 jobs. Well, guess what? The actual result overperformed by over 100,000 jobs than what that report had said. 177,000 jobs in an economy like this is huge. It's huge, which shows that, yes, guys, you won't. The liberals, they will never admit it. They can't, because they're so egotistical. They're so narcissistic. But ideally, they'll never do it. But we can. Donald Trump knows what he's doing. Donald Trump and his cabinet knows what they're doing. And obviously, I had my criticisms towards Donald Trump. I'm not bought and paid for like all the liberals. Sure, I'll give the criticism. Donald Trump, yeah, I do think he should have haven't gone all hard all at once. Maybe Mexico, Canada, that's it, instead of the whole entire world immediately right when he gets in. But we know very well that he is a hardliner. He's been a hardline on this belief since the 70s about countries paying their fair share. He's ultimately a businessman. So you got to expect something like this. And the good news of having a businessman do this instead of an average politician is that businessmen are good negotiators. Okay? Businessmen are good negotiators because businessmen rival other businesses. And in order to gain profit, they're going to have to get negotiations because sometimes they bump into each other. Donald Trump's a good negotiator. And you're seeing China, and the liberal media will not admit it, and they haven't admitted it, but China is caving. China is caving to the pressure. Donald Trump, he's not afraid to increase the tariffs by 100%. The only people that will boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it is the Chinese and the liberal media, because we know the liberal media are pro-China, okay? They're pro-China. What else? What else? Yes. Blanking on the name, but certain investors, they are pro-China. The big elite, the rich elite, they are pro-China also. Wall Street, that was what I was blanking on. Wall Street is pro-China. They want China to win. Liberal media, BSDNC, or MSCCP, yeah, whatever you want to call them. MSDNC, whatever. Yeah, they have a weird name. You can mess around with it. They're definitely pro-China. They absolutely refuse to give Donald Trump any benefit of the doubt. They were wrong. Liberal media, are you going to say we were wrong? We were wrong. Donald Trump actually knew what he was doing with this. So this is very well helping the stock market to know that we've got over 177,000 new jobs. Of course, when we put the tariffs in, people went and invested early. That benefited them. So this shows that the American people also know, are also more smarter than what the liberals, Democrats think they are. And I think that's obviously big and huge. So we obviously have this new report. We also have, the Democrats will also say that the economy is still bad, though, because obviously they said the economy is a mixed message. They're saying the confidence is still down. This is from News Nation. It's I will say it's not. I keep getting them mixed up with Newsmax. Newsmax is very conservative. News Nation, I'll give them credit. They are more moderate. But then again, when it comes to confidence, that's the other thing. People have, in the last couple of years, I believe since Bush, they have been unconfident with their president. And especially with a man named like Donald Trump, because people see his personality as a backstabber or something that is a personal opponent of his. Personality as a flaw. They see his attitude as a flaw. But then again, Donald Trump has a very, very good gift of understanding when it comes to economics. He has a very good understanding when it comes to actually knowing in negotiations. We know how much Europe is mad with him right now. They should be mad because you know why? Because he's a good negotiator. Though on paper, the liberals would say, well, they're mad. They're probably not caving in. Well, think about it. They went through this guy again. There's a reason why they're mad. They're mad he won because first they know their grift is over. So Europe, Canada, their grift is over. They're done. They're saying, nope, you guys are going to play fairly. And so they're kicking and screaming because, yeah, part of it is they're in fight mode against Trump. But eventually they know that they're going to have to come to the table. So this is copium from Europe. This is copium from Canada. So this is obviously not surprising. And eventually, yes, they will come to the table. It's said that Mark Carney is going to head over to Mar-a-Lago to make a deal with Trump. No, why are we surprised? Are we surprised? No, I'm not surprised. I mean, his party was reelected, and that's probably why he was being so act all tough, went on the anti-Trump spree, attacking Trump, saying Canada would never do it. Well, Canada will, because unless you don't get reelected. Canada, when Mark Carney gets reelected, Canada will bend the knee. And what we're seeing here is Mark Carney. He's going to make his the humiliating walk to the White House or Mar-a-Lago. I don't know what it is, but I would assume the White House to talk with Trump, make a deal with Trump. And Canada is more likely now to make a deal with Trump, because they had to be more aggressive against the United States because they had an election, right? They wanted to prove to the liberal base, which is very Trump-deranged, that Canada is ready to oppose the United States and stand up. But of course, now Canada knows that, okay, if we don't act now, then our economy is just going to get worse. And eventually, I mean, the Canadians, they'll boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it. But let's be honest, they'll boo-hoo, whine, and cry more when their economy is through the tank. And eventually, Canada will have to join the U.S. So, obviously, Carney is making his walk all the way to what the White House, allegedly. There are reports of that. But Canada isn't the real player in the trade war. It's China, because China is the United States' compatible trade partner. And I already explained that I'm not the expert of economics, but I do know foreign relation-wise on economics. And when it comes to the tariffs, when it comes to actually the map of how, let's see, U.S. versus Chinese trade around the world by country. It used to actually be U.S. dominant trade during the early 2000s. But of course, this is where we went through. So, yeah, in 1980, it was just Mongolia and North Korea. It was just Mongolia and North Korea as a part of the Chinese influence there. And you'll see, this is a PDF, so you'll see, over the course of the years, Chinese trade, it influxes. They'll get a number of it or such. But notice, after, like, the Great Recession, the Obama era, especially, the Democrats, they're allowing China to get all these jobs. And it's when, during 2017, you'll notice, we get a Republican, and that's when we hear a lot about China. That's when we hear a lot about, we had that China-United States trade war. It was Donald Trump trying to bring in equal trade. We were about to get that trade figured out, but then what happened? COVID, right? And who do we blame for COVID? We blame China, because of course it came from China, and that ruined relations between the United States and China, and ultimately that didn't get done. Donald Trump unfortunately lost the election in 2020, and that resulted to him being thrown out in the outcast. What did Joe Biden try to fix this number for the United States? No. Sure, he would gaslight Americans, say, oh, we'll stand up to China if China dare invades Taiwan. But China's already invading. They're invading the whole world. Look at this map. They've been invading the whole world economically since, I don't know, 2008? It was, sure, I'll give you benefit of the doubt. Bush was the main problem with it. With his Great Recession. Even Bush did giving him some benefit of the doubt. He controlled it, obviously, during his term. I mean, it was gaining under his term, but it really gained with that Great Recession, during the Bush term, 2008, the stock market crash, and then Obama doing absolutely nothing about it. Donald Trump, he's trying to fix it. He was so close, but then COVID came. He was thrown out of office in 2020. Now he's back, and what do you think he's going to do? He's going to finish the job that he tried to do for the majority of his first term in office. And knowing that we already got a deal with China in 2019, he's going to go with that deal again. Of course, China has to gaslight. China has to say, well, no, we're never going to cave into American pressure. No, this is our trade, because I think China knows that they're not going to get away with this. Donald Trump, after all, he's not going to bend the knee. But China knows, we got 100% tariff on us. So do you think they're going to keep the map like where it is today? Like, where is the map today? Okay, look at here. 2024. Yeah, this is not a good map, guys. You show a Democrat this map, they can care less. This is bad. Because this impacts American jobs, right? American workers. American workers could be gaining so much more. We just have Western Europe. We have Northern South America. We have Mexico and Central America. We have Canada, and that's it. China has all of Africa except for Lesotho and Eswatini. I think this is Lesotho and Eswatini's right here. All of Africa. Africa is basically a part of China now, because because Pakistan is a reliable ally of China. First off, they can ship goods quicker because of Pakistan. It's a corridor for the Chinese, because they pay the Pakistanis to use their sea coast to bring goods through Pakistan all the way to Eastern Africa, instead of going all the way through Indonesia, all the way, or around Australia. They could just go very easily through Pakistan, because India is not going to allow them to do it. Heck no. But Pakistan will, because, of course, China is a reliable ally of Pakistan, not to mention common enemy, which is India. So there's some foreign relations when it comes to that. But obviously, it's that Pakistan-China relationship that does help China benefit, especially when it gets to getting to Africa, but apparently also getting to South America. But this is the problem. This is what Donald Trump's trying to fix. You see here, you love America, you put the American flag in your backyard. No, I'm not talking about the American flag upside down. The dorks that have the American flag upside down, they're just delusional. They're mad. They're throwing a fit. They're angry at the world. They're just angry and bitter people. Let them be angry. Let them be bitter. Let them have their American flag upside down. They have zero love for their country. And they obviously oppose what Donald Trump is trying to do, and which is trying to make America great again. Part of making America great again is the agenda of trying to fix this. Because you can't be pro-MAGA and stand against Donald Trump fixing this problem. Try to reason this with me. You're trying to reason this with me. How? How in the world? Why would you think that this? Well, I'm MAGA. I'm America first, but I oppose Donald Trump trying to push back on the Chinese trade when it comes to this. I oppose it, even though it will help Americans in the long run benefit more, gain more money. Americans are mad that their 401k is gone. Well, guess what? It wasn't gone for no price. That's what Democrats aren't trying. They're not trying to help. And I get it. Strategically and politically, they don't want to, right? Because this makes Democrats look good. They want your 401k to go away. Democrats will celebrate that because it makes Trump look bad. It will make Democrats look good, even though Americans don't really want to go back to Democrats anyway. But when it comes to this is what Donald Trump's trying to fix. And China, good news, they're trying to come up with a deal. Will the United States get back to this map? Back in the 1990s? No, I don't think. I think it will be 50-50, and I think ultimately that's what Donald Trump's trying to settle for. I think Donald Trump knows that China's not going to be that bad, not that dumb to actually let themselves have Cuba, Mongolia, North Korea, and that's it. besides, China has been gaining more since then, since the 1980s. They've been trending, but they've gone really big when Obama allowed this to get out of control. And that's what I think we're trying to do. We're going to try to bring it back pre-2008, where it was kind of equivalent, but obviously we're going to see if there's going to be some deal. So this was pretty good news for Donald Trump today. The media, they'll do their psyop. They're going to say, oh well, it went down 0.3. Well, it went down 0.6 last time under Biden last year of the economy. They said it was fine. This is normal. So, but it's doing a little bit better this year than last year, and they're saying it's so bad, the economy. We know this is what they do. They are rooting against America. They're rooting against the economy. They're rooting against your paycheck. They're happy about it, guys. This, obviously, if you know someone that's mad about your paycheck, yes, I think that person knows that Democrats are happy. And they ought to be. But this is this is what their comeback, right? Right? No, it isn't, because first off, they're rooting against you. They won't tell you the full truth. They'll say, oh, this is so bad, 0.3, it went down 0.3. Oh, well, do you want to go back down to 0.9? Like, why? We know what they would be like if it went down 0.9, and guarantee you, we probably wouldn't have that jobs report if it went down to 0.9. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.